Hello and welcome to the NSF webinar about managing your pharmaceutical quality system with 50% fewer staff. I've chosen the figure 50% as this is a large number of staff and all site leadership teams would need to take some decisions about how to continue to operate the site with so few staff. My name is Lynne Byers. I'm a Vice President at NSF Pharma Services. I've worked in the industry since 1978 and done many jobs in quality assurance and quality control, as well as working for the MHRA, the UK regulatory authority. And as you can see, I have expertise in many different areas. Trying to manage a pharmaceutical quality system with far fewer staff than normal would be seen as some as a crisis, yet others as an opportunity. Whichever part of that equation you're on, whether you think it's an opportunity or a crisis, it's very important to make some positive decisions about what activities could be stopped, delayed, or continued to make sure that the site keeps operating in a compliant manner. It might seem counterintuitive to think about what might be stopped, and yet if you look at activities on a site, some will just be planned and have not been implemented yet. So a good example of that would be change controls, and often change controls lead to revalidation activities, perhaps stability testing, changes in documentation, and if variations are required, then regulatory affairs departments would be involved. So if you can actually stop some change controls which have not yet been implemented, then that can free up quite a lot of resource. Similarly, for projects that are not yet ready for implementation, so if you have some large projects on a site, perhaps implementing a new IT system, that will have quite a large project team working on it, as well as people from the site working on it. And that can free up lots of time if you're able to pause those projects. And then those people who might be working on the project could be redeployed to other activities on site. Perhaps a more difficult question is what may be delayed. For anything you plan to delay, it's very important to use a change control system to implement a temporary change, to compliantly change the quality systems, particularly timing of activities. Use risk management tools to help with decision making. Don't just think this will be okay, this won't be okay. Use the data that you have on the site to make the right decisions. So examples of potential changes that could be taken would be documentation review timeframes. So for example, you may have a 3-year review time for procedures or all documents on site, and it may be worth considering perhaps delaying those or extending the review period by perhaps 3 months, just to give yourselves some breathing space to enable you to do the day-to-day activities that need to be done. Another area of potential change could be the self-inspection schedule. Now, self-inspections are clearly very important, but often sites just schedule in every area every so often without looking at perhaps what the risk is about delaying a particular self-inspection. So take a look at what is planned and consider, well, has there ever been a critical or a major finding in the area? And if not, then it's probably reasonable to actually delay and change the self-inspection schedule such that that area could be looked at later on in the year. And then a third area to consider would be annual product reviews. These often take quite a lot of time to prepare and to review, and it would be reasonable to perhaps delay the review of the APRs by perhaps 1 or 2 months compared to the normal schedule. And if you think about it, you can think about lots of other areas that could potentially be changed, which would free up some time and resource to allow you to continue to have product flowing from the site. So then looking at the product and what must continue. So any activities linked to batch release, such as testing, reviewing batch documentation, it's critical that those activities continue in a timely manner. Clearly, any investigation should be completed while the evidence is still fresh. And so by investigations here, I mean deviations, out of specifications, out of trend, unusual environmental monitoring results. All those should be investigated as soon as possible and as soon as it's known about. It's important not to stop tracking routine quality key performance indicators. These and this dashboard give a really good view of how the site is operating and what problems there may be with the site. So it's important because they will help you spot if the pharmaceutical quality system is slipping out of control. And they will also give you information to communicate with senior managers to ensure that they know that the PQS is operating in a compliant manner, or if it's slipping out of control, they will need to take decisions to repurpose resource into areas which need it. So this has been quite a short presentation, but it's really just to get you thinking about, well, what could I do? What should I do in my site and on my site? So don't close your eyes to decisions which need to be taken. Don't let your PQS slip out of control. Make sure that you use quality risk management approach to make decisions. And remember to focus the resource on the most critical activities. If you really do have 50% fewer staff, then it's very important that those staff work on the most critical activities. I've also written a white paper on this topic, and you can find it on our website, which is listed here. If you have any comments about this presentation, any questions, please feel free to contact me at lynnbyers@nsf.org. I hope you've enjoyed listening to this short presentation, and I wish you a good day. Thank you.